welcoming you all to our very first technical session on Umbraco CMS. So let me introduce the topic. Today we are planning to take topic on how to build an Umbraco 11 website. So in this topic, we are planning to cover almost all the fundamentals of Umbraco. We will give you a walkthrough on Umbraco back office, and we will show you some examples. And let me introduce the speaker. Today, the session will be taken by my colleague, Danesh Kumar. He is the software engineer at Phases. He's also a certified master in Umbraco and Umbraco code contributor. Yeah. And so basically, this is the agenda. We will show you how to install Umbraco CMS and various options of installing the Umbraco CMS. And we will give you a walkthrough on Umbraco back office, like all the features out of the box features that is provided by Umbraco CMS. And we will show you some examples by creating pages, creating and rendering pages in Umbraco. And also there will be, we will show you an example by installing a starter kit, Umbraco starter kit. Yeah. And then after the session, there will be Q&A. You can ask the questions. We will try our best to answer your questions. And uh, then the session will be over. And Danesh will give you a quick intro on the next topic. Yeah, that's it. I think, Danesh, you're good to go.
Yeah, thank you, Nijas. So hi all. So directly I'm jumping into the session so we can save our time actually. So I will share my screen. Yeah, is screen visible, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So before I jump into the technical session, I'm just give you the overview of we take this topic and the different versions of Umbraco actually, and why we choose Umbraco version 11 for this session actually. So this section is about how we can create a website or a web application on top of Umbraco. So here we choose Umbraco version 11 because which is the latest version from Umbraco itself, but it is not a LTS version. That means long-term supported version. The LTS version or the long-term supported version from Umbraco is version 10. Version 10 actually. But why we use the version 11? Because it's the latest version. So we thought that okay, we can start from the latest version itself. So that's about the versions. So if you go here, we can find different versions that is released from Umbraco and what is the upcoming release. You can find it from here actually from the link itself. So yeah, so before starting, before installing or before creating an Umbraco CMS on top of version 11, we need some system requirements actually because Umbraco version 11 is developed on top of .NET 7. So we need to install .NET 7 runtime in our machine. So we can directly download the .NET 7 runtime from the .NET, the Microsoft website itself or from the VS tool itself. So once it's installed, once the runtime is installed, then we are ready to go with creating the Umbraco website using Umbraco version 11. So for that, Umbraco will give a scaffold, or we can say that Visual Studio template for that to make it easy to create the Umbraco 11 website. For that, we can install the template by using the command. Just open our PowerShell or any CLI tool and just run the command, and it will install this template globally. So once it's installed, then we can directly browse from the from the the Visual Studio itself. So once it's installed, then we can search from here. There is a option for searching the template. So here we can search for Umbraco. So once we search for Umbraco, we can see the two the Visual Studio template we can see. So one is for the Umbraco package by Umbraco HQ, and one is the Umbraco project by Umbraco HQ. So for this section, we are going to go with the Umbraco project, the template for this section actually. So we just want to click, we just want to select that option and just click on the next. So then it's an usual process. We need to give a project name actually. It's a normal, Visual Studio projects, how we are creating a normal project. The same way we can create it. So for this, we can say that it's a, demo So we can say that Umbraco Meetup demo demo. So and I just selected a folder called under the E directory. There is a folder called demo. So I just can keep the all the demo kind of projects in under that folder. So once it's added, then we can click on next, and there is an option will come. So it's specifically for Umbraco actually. So here we can see the runtime or the framework we are using for this Umbraco, this project actually. So as I said, Umbraco.NET 7, sorry, the .NET Umbraco version 11 is developed on top of .NET 7. So that's why it's come a default by .NET 7 framework actually. And here we can say it's the late. What version we are using for creating this? So it's 11.2.2, and these there are the different options we can use, and it's optional actually. If you need to use HTTPS redirect kind of things, we can select, or otherwise we can unselect. It's an optional. So for this purpose, I just select that, and we can give the connection string, and we can give the provider name, which database provider we are going to use. For this, I am just using SQLite because it's a lightweight and which is embedded within the Umbraco, but it is not recommended for the production purpose, but for the demo purpose it's fine. And there are other options that is specific to Umbraco actually. So you can see that unattended username, user email, password, and other properties are there. So this is the properties that we are using for creating the user, because we know that for a CMS we need a back office, right? For in order to log into the back office, we need to authenticate and authorize. For that, we need a user. For that purpose, we can use this option basically. But I skip for now. But because at the time of install, there would be a screen. So in that screen, we can give this information. So for now, I'm just skipping this option. So and click on create. So what is happening behind the screen is like based on the scaffold, they are creating an Umbraco blank project actually. So once it's created, we can see there is a solution called Umbraco Meetup demo that we are giving a project name. So based on that, the solution name is created, and you can see a project name also the same, and you can see the other folders that is specific to the core .NET Core 7 version actually. So there is a root is there, and there is view for keeping the view files, and definitely there is app settings and app settings specific to the environment variable, and there is program and starter file is there. And also there is dependency. Under that dependency, if you expand the packages, we can see that there is Umbraco CMS version 11.2 is referred. If we are not using this template, we can create a blank solution, and we can install the Umbraco from the NuGet package also. But we can save some time if you are using this the Visual Studio template from Umbraco HQ itself. Yeah. So once it's installed, then we can run this project, right? So I'm just running this project. So as usual, the building process is starting. So once it's built, then it will run actually. Yeah, here it is running. So we can wait for the next screen actually, because it's the initial process. So this process it may take some time actually. So that's why it taking some time to load, because it's an initial process. Okay, so we can see a install screen actually. So as you remember, I said that I'm just skipping that unattended username, the email, the password option. So why I skip that, we can come up with this screen actually. So here we can give the same information. So it's a most readable format, so everyone can understand. So that's why I skip that option. So here we can give a name actually. So it's a demo, so we can say demo. And the email, I'm just saying that demo at pieces.io, and I'm using the same password. So, and there is some options. We can keep it minimal, basic, a detail based on this information. The Umbraco will gather just for the analytic purpose actually. So you can see what are the information is gathering here. So I'm just putting it as basic for now. So using the SQLite, because at the scaffold stage itself, I'm choose that we are using SQLite. So that's why it's pre-filled, prefetch that information from that configuration itself. Yeah. So and just go to next. So what I am give here, just name, email, and password. I'm just going to install this Umbraco. So yeah, so once it's installed, then it will redirect to the back office itself. It's a blank, blank back office. There is no data here. So it's a purely kind of a blank CMS, Umbraco CMS on top of version 1. So here is different sections you can see. So this, the default section is the landing page, or we can say dashboard. It's the default dashboard from Umbraco. So and the top, the menu kind of thing is called section actually. So Umbraco, there are various kinds of section for managing content. The content section is there for managing media. The media section settings is mainly focusing for the developers. That is that how to create the blueprint for the contents that called the doc type, data type, media type, like kind of things. And the packages, yes, for a CMS, we don't have every functionality, right? So we need to depend on some other some other packages to extend some functionality, or in order to achieve some goals. For that purpose, we can use this package section. So from the package section, we can install the packages. We can filter the packages based on the categories, and the user section is there. So demo is the user that we created. So this user is specific for the back office actually. So the member is a nice functionality in Umbraco. Like, if you want to create a customer or a users, the customer or kind of things apart from the Umbraco back office, then we can use this option. And there is form. This is the add-on from Umbraco, or a product from Umbraco. We can use the form. We can create we can create a form dynamically. So that's the form section. Translation section, or we can say the dictionary section. So if you want to keep any static data that is not going to change frequently, then we can keep the data here. So yes, that's about the section. And the left side here we are seeing is called content trees. So we are landed on this content section. So this is the content tree. So when we are go to the media, it is media tree. Likewise, it will go. So each if we are going to section, we can see the dashboard. So most of the section has its own dashboard. So this dashboard can be changeable. We can add our own dashboard, and we can customize it. That will take on our upcoming sessions as well. Yes, so that's about the menu, the tree sections, the sections. And here we can say icon. So it's a user icon. So here we can see option to go to my profile, the change password and logout option. And here when we click on that question mark, we can see what version we are using, and tutorials available for learning Umbraco. And the community, the friendliest community, Umbraco community is one of the friendliest communities, so we can explore that from here itself. And the system information, if what type of what is my system OS, or that kind of system information we can see here, actually. So, and this is the global back office search, dedicated for the back office search actually. So we can search by text here. So for now, it won't show any detail as much because there is no much data. So we can search based on the text. So it will pull the document type or whatever data in Umbraco back office. It will pull based on the search text actually. Yeah. So this is all about the back office actually. So yeah, I think we can just jump into the how we can create an Umbraco website, from the scratch actually. So for that, I'm using a template actually. So instead of a starter kit, I think that it would be great if I can start from a template. For that, I'm just using a template actually. So it's called, it's from the start Bootstrap. It's a free website, so we can download it. So I already download, so we can work on this template. Actually, it's very easy and it's very already interactive. So it's easy to start with this this template actually. So I'm just downloading this. And this template we are going to incorporate with Umbraco. Yeah. So first of all, I start with the document type. So as I said, document type is the blueprint for the for the content actually. So for every CMS, the basic functionality of the CMS is like we are adding some contents in the back office, and based on that contents we are rendering in the front end. So the benefit is like whenever we need to change the content, we don't need to go to a developer and need to ask for change the content. We can simply go log into the back office and we can change the content actually. So for that we need a structure, right? For that content we need a structure. So that structure we are we are maintaining, or we are creating from the doc type itself. So we need to create the document type first. So when we write, so just go to the settings section. So under the settings section we can see different options. So in this section we are just focusing on the doc type, data type, and the templates actually. So for the doc type, just right click on the doc type folder, the main root folder. Then there will be three default option will be there. One is create, other one is import, then the third one is just reload. So when we click on the create, we can create a document type from the scratch. If we have any document type to import, we can import it. So for now, we are just creating a document type from the scratch actually. So as I said, we are incorporating that test template. So for every website or web application, we have a home page, right? So we will start with the home page actually. So in our organization phases, we are very structurally, creating the content, because once we created the back office structure in a good way, then it would be great when we think about the scalability and the readability. So we will always structure the back office in a good way. So for the document type itself, we are structuring on a folder basis. So I will show you how we are using that. So we are creating home page. So that is a page actually. So we can create a folder called page types. So it's a any name you can use, but in our organization we are following this. So page type. So we are just creating a folder called page type. So under this page type, we can just right click on the that folder and just click on the create. Then there will be these five options. So under that page type, we are creating the home page doc type. So there is mainly two options. We can focus on these two. One is creating a doc type without template. One is creating a doc type with template. So for this section, we need to use this option, document type with template. But some of the business requirements we need to create a document type, but we don't really need to use the template. At that case, we can use this option. For this section, we can go with the creating the document type with template actually. So I'm just clicking on that. Then we can see a window. So here from here we can create the document type. So basically, first of all, we need to create a name. Actually, we need to assign, or we can create a name for the doc type. So as I said, we will start with the home page. So we can say that home, or we can say that home page. So this is the name for this doc type, and this is the home page. So this is the alias name. So this name is unique, and this needs to be unique, and we call as document type alias. So this is the name, and this is the alias type, and this alias is used in our programming. This should be unique actually. So that need to be keep in mind. And we can add a description. So we when in phases we very focused on this. So we will always give the name for each document type, so that will give more clarity for the back office and content editors actually. So this is a home page, so we can simply that name that is a home page. But in real time scenario, we will give some meaningful description and name actually. This is a home page. This is a home page, yes. And we can add a icon, and we can select a color for make it more readable. So for now I just select a color theme, green, as a green. And for the icon, we can search for home. Okay, there is home is there. So I'm just created a with some information like a document type name, a description, a icon with color, and a alias name. So I'm just click on the save. Okay, so what it will done is like we used an option to create a doc type with template. So we used a name to give doc type description, icon with color and alias name, and we used that option to create with template, right? So if you go to the template, we can see a template is already created for the home page actually. So that's why we all use that option. If we are not using that option, then we need to create the home page in a template independently. So we can save some time on that actually if we are using that option. There are other option. We will come why we use that as the other option in the going forward actually. Yes, for now I'm just saving this. So yeah, so the home page is now created. The doc type is now created. Okay, so now what we are going to do is like I'm just going to the content actually. I'm just trying to create the home page. So the doc type is created, that means the blueprint is created. Now based on that blueprint, we are going to create the content. So I'm just this is the content section. So as I said, the content root is this. So when we right click on this content root, there is three options. One is sort, create, and reload. When we click on create, we can have that option, but we can't see that option because we miss one, miss one functionality. That's why it is not seeing here. So we need to go back to that settings and we need to come to home page and we need to click on this permission area. And here we can say that allow as root. Whenever we allow a home page or a doc type as root, then only we can create as a root element or a root page actually. So it's clearly mentioned here. So we need to select this option and I'm just click on save. So once it's saved, then we can, just reload and we can see whether it is come or not. I'm just clicking on done. Yeah, and click, yeah, we can see the home page, we can see the home page, right? So these data, the icon with color, the description, the title is actually coming from here actually. So that's why I'm saying that it's more important to add this content or the add this data because it will increase the readability. Yeah, so yes, once it's all done, then we can have the option to create the home page. So I'm just clicking on that. So we need to give a name. So it's commonly we can say it home. I'm just name it home for this node actually, or for this content. So here we can say that the home page is the doc type, the template is the home page. So I'm just save and publishing this, this node, and once it's save and publish, then we can browse this node actually, and we will get a unique URL based on after once the save and publish is done. So we can wait for that. Yeah, so it's saved and published now. So once it's saved and published, we can see the browse link, the link to browse this page actually, because we have a home page template is there. We have a home page doc type is there. Then once it's published, then we can see the link to browse this page actually. When we click on this link, we can see the data from that template actually. So once I browse, I can't see anything because there is nothing in that, that template actually. That's why we are not seeing anything. Okay, so we just want to open this template and we need to add some data. So I'm just going back to the settings section, and in the settings section, there is template. It's already created by that option, creating document type with template. By that option, it is creating by default. So for that, in this home page, there is no content. So I think we can create a master template for that. I'm just calling as master. You can call it whatever, layout or something like that. I'm just calling it master and I'm just saving. Yeah, so once it's saved, then I'm just go to the home page. I'm selecting my master page. So it's structured now. So from the structure itself, we can see that okay, home page is the child template of the master. So yeah, so that's how we can create the master and home page. And here I'm just putting some h1 tag, and I'm saying that hello. I'm just saving this template actually. And whenever I reload that page, I can see that content. That content is not coming because we miss one code actually. So that is render body. So we need to specify that actually. So it's a generic thing for the .NET MVC kind of projects. So yes, this is hello that is rendered from that template actually. So yeah. So we need to make it dynamic now. Now what we created is like we created document type. So based on that document type, we created the page type or the content, and from that content we can browse the URL or that content. So the data is actually pulling from the content, but the data needs to be rendered in the template. So that template is this home page actually, and that we can see from here itself what document type or what template is using. Okay. So now the data is coming. Now we need to pull, we need to create some the properties to add the content in the home page. So we need to add some more properties actually. So just going back to the home page, I am just creating a tab. So I am just naming as display content. So here I'm just what we can say. Okay, welcome text. So we need to add this title or the description to make it more readable. So for now I'm just skipping. So yes, we can add select the properties. So here are the default properties from Umbraco. So we can use these properties. If you want to create a new custom properties, we can create. We will definitely take those advanced section in upcoming sessions actually. So for now, I'm just selecting this text area. So I think welcome would be this text area would be sufficient. Otherwise, I will choose the text area, and there are other option to make it mandatory kind of things. For now, I'm just skipping that. I'm just saving that option. Yes, I'm just saving, and here yeah, I'm just saving here. So what I did is like just created a tab, and I just added a property called welcome test with the data type called text area. So I'm coming back to my home page. I'm just reloading the content, the home. So here we can see that the same content or the what we are created in the document type, we can see it here actually. So this is the welcome test because we created a name property with the name welcome test, and it's a text area. So hello all, welcome to the meetup. Meetup. I'm just adding some contents here. So it's why it will only appear on the template once it's only save and published. If you save, it won't it won't appear on the front end actually. So we need to save and publish actually. Yeah. So yeah, once it's save and publish, then we can reload our home page, but nothing is coming because we are not at incorporate that data or that property in our template actually. So I just go back to my template under that master, open the home page, and we can render here like model dot what we are used for that properties. Just go back to the settings, and I'm just opening that home page. I'm just copying this area. So this is the alias or the property alias. So this is the unique that I said. For the same, it's go here. It is also unique. So every alias should be unique actually. So welcome test. I'm just opening this. I'm just pasting it here. The v should be. Yes, I'm just saving this, and I'm just trying to reload that page. So now we can see the data, right? So the data is actually coming from the back office. It's dynamically pulling. Okay, so I'm just reloading this. Yes. So if I add some blah blah blah, blah, then I'm just save and publish, then reload the, then we can see that it's dynamically pulling. So that's the all about how we can pulling the content from dynamic on the dynamic basis actually. Okay, so now this is all about how we can create a website in a minimal process. In we can there is more things are there, there is more property editors are there, there are more different structures or different architecture are there. It would be specifically choose those architecture based on the business requirements actually. So we can't cover the entire topic in this 45-minute section. So for that we will take a small template. So based on that template we can work on that actually. Yeah. Yeah, so for that I will download that template. So I just want to open my Win Explorer, and I just look on my downloads, and yeah, so here is the templates that I downloaded. So I just want to copy this actually. So copy to this view folder actually. So I just explore this so it will give more clarity. So this is my folder structure for Umbraco. I mean the root structure. So I'm just pasting it here actually. So once it's pasted, hit here, we can once it's pasted in the it's already I pasted all these the template code into my the root of my project actually. So you can see here. So I'm just opening this index.html. Yes, I'm just control A, control C. I'm just copying this, and I'm just opening the master layouts actually. So I'm just putting all my content in the master layout. So this is not something related to Umbraco. This is the normal .NET thing. So I'm just copying this render body because it's the master layout, and that render body must needs to come within the body tag. So I'm just pasting it here. Okay. So once it's pasted, then we can try to reload our page. So let's see what is happening. Okay, now we can see the data, the template, actually the real template of this data we can remove now. Just I'm going to here, and this is actually coming from the home page here. I'm just removing for now. So now it looks very clear. Yeah, now the template is ready. So it's a ready to use template. It's a free template. So it's so many interactions are there. So we can use the same template for our upcoming sections. Like we are planning to, you know, take there are some sessions on models builder, block list, grid editor, blazor component like that. So in those sections we can use these types of interactions. So yeah, so this is the template. So the template is now structured. So the all the things, all the basic the basic layout is goes to the master, and all the page specific template will go to the page specific template. Actually it's a normal thing. So render body is like, so I'm just copying all the HTML tags from the home page actually. So because it's something related to page, right? So I'm just moving from the master layout. So yes, where it is, it's so many content. Yeah, yes, I'm just cut this. Okay, I'm just cutting and I'm just pasting it here. So master layout has only the basic layouts or the common elements, and renderboard is here. So it will directly pick these layouts from here actually and render it in the master template. So when I reload, there is nothing much change. Yeah, we can see these these data from the home page itself. Yeah, now we need to separate this, right? Because this is very hard to maintain this content within the same page. So it's not a good idea to maintain this long HTML page. So we need to separate, or we need to split these into small chunks. Like we can say we can split it into partial views or view component, or the macros or something like that. So for now I'm just copying these basic things. I think I can start with this navigation, so we don't have that much time. So I'm just copying this. I'm just creating a partial view. For that I'm just go to the back office and go to the settings section. Here is an option to create the partial view, and right click on the partial view. There's an option to create the partial view, and I'm basically we want to create a header, right? So header is common to every page actually. So we can commonly say as header actually. So I'm just creating a folder called header, and under that header I'm just creating a partial view called navigation. So I'm just created a navigation partial view, so we can move this navigation code from here. Yeah, so we will move that code from here, and we need to call that from here actually. So I'm just using that option. That's my, I think we need to use that path we can get from here. We can use the path. Okay, now it's here. So we can reload that page. Yeah. So actually the all content is actually from the templates, but this piece is from the partial view. It's not something related to Umbraco. It's something related to normal .NET. So yeah, so we can either create as partial view, or either it's a traditional way actually. Though so we can create as a view component actually. So there is an option for that as well. So we can create a view component. So we can see how it will work. So for that I'm just creating a folder called components, and under this component I'm just creating a folder called header. I'm just creating a folder called header. Under that I'm just creating a view component actually. So let's say mm, navigation view component. So it needs to be inherited from the component actually, view component. So it's from the Microsoft .NET Core MVC itself. So we will just want to inherit that. Yeah, once it's installed, then we can write the invoke method. So my IntelliSense is working nice. So we can just create my component in now the view component is ready. So I just want to give the name for this view component actually. So I'm just giving the, yes, we can say the navigation. Yes, it's pretty much good. And once the component is ready, then we can create a view for that. So for now, I'm just creating a folder. Say that can follow the same. So here I'm using the components. Under that components, I'm just directly creating the navigation component actually. So I'm just seeing that I'm just removing this. Just want to copy this navigation HTML to this component actually. Once it's done, then we need to call that from here and just comment out this. And we can call component dot invoke async. Can call the name of our template or that component. What is that? It's navigation. So we can, so similar way also we can, render the content actually. Yeah, I think we missed that path. So we need to use that path. I think I missed to create that header actually. Yes, I missed this folder. That's why it's not created. So I just want to create another folder called header. Yep. Oh, no, I'm missing that note. That the name of the component is navigation. So I just rename to navigation actually. Yes. So once it's done, reload that page, then we can see the navigation actually. So now what we did is like we created a master layout and we put all the the common layouts or common HTML in the master, and for the page specific we created a home page template, and in the home page template we need to separate or we need to split these HTML actually. So that's why we use the partial view or the view component actually. So partial view is some kind of traditional way. So this is a nice way to create the component actually. So we call it in asynchronous way. So it will increase the performance actually. So yes, we invoke this navigation and all the HTML specific to this component. We put it in the template itself. Now we need to create that the you know create we need to dynamically render this navigation actually. So now it's plain HTML, right? So for that we need to go back to our document type. I'm just clicking on the document type, and we need to create a navigation component for that. So navigation is kind of a global kind of thing is using across every pages. So either we can create as a independent root node and holding all the navigation content there, or either we can create directly within the home page itself. It's up to us. It's up to the business requirement or how big is the project. Based on that we can structurize the back office actually. So for now I'm just creating a doc type composition. For that I need to create a folder, and just say name as compositions, and under that composition I'm just creating a composition. So composition is nothing when we need to use some of the common properties that need to be used across multiple document types, then we can use this option. So I'm just using this option and I'm naming as navigation, and we can use the same option like theme or color for identifying, and we can add the title. And for this I'm just adding the header. This is the part of the header, right? So I'm just giving as header. It's up to us any name we can give. So now we are trying to achieve is just the link. So link contains the name, icon, and need to be opened in new tab. So this is the basic property of a link, right? So we need to create multiple links, so it need to be nested. So that type of property we need to create in the back office. So I'm just opening this navigation, and when we click on this add property, we can see this window. So this is called the editor window. So in this we can give a name. We can, I'm just naming as links, and I'm just using multi URL should be there. So we can select the predefined data type from Braco itself, or we can create a new. For this purpose I'm just creating a new. So we can use a generic or a common name for while we are creating a property. So we can name it as navigation hyphen multi URL link, or we can use this option. This also we can use it's up to us how we need to use, because we need to maintain a consistency. If you are using this naming convention, then we need to use the same naming convention for this project actually, otherwise it will affect the consistency actually. It's up to us basically. So I'm just creating the multi URL, I just giving a name, and these are the other option. I'm just using the overlay for medium, and I just submit. And yeah, there is other option. As I said, there is field mandatory kind of option is there. So I'm just relieving, I'm just skipping that option. I'm just submitting. Just click on save. Yep. So the navigation is there. Now we need to incorporate this navigation composition with the with this home page. So here we can say see a option for adding or selecting the composition, right? So click on this composition, and we can see those composition here. So I'm just selecting that navigation. Once it's selected, we can see that it is here. So this header is the tab for this navigation. So that's why it's shown as header. So it's inherited from the navigation. So we can see here. So I'm just saving this. So once it's saved, then we can go back to our our the content section, and we can reload it, and we can see how it will render, or how it will come in the back office for the home page. Yeah. So now we can see the header part actually. So this is the content part we just created for the demo purpose, and this is the actual content we are going to incorporate with this web content or this web page. So here we can add the content. So I think we can add some dummy. I just creating the same. We can either selecting to the page that is created in the Umbraco back office, or we can use the you create we can create we can select or add the external link as well. Yeah. So for now I'm just adding this, and we can add some meetups. Yeah, we can use this option. Can this add link and meetups? Yes. I'm just adding, and I'm just saving. Yes. Once it's saved, then we can reload it, but nothing will happen because that template, we don't incorporate this data with that template. So I'm just go back to the template actually. So this is the navigation component responsible for the navigation. So I'm just using this. So how we can use this is like we can use that model. So how we can use that is for that, I think we can use the model builder option. So I'm just using the model builder option. This data is actually coming from the app setting schema. So model builder mode, just using the source code manual. So once we use the source code manual, then we can generate the model from the back office itself. These we'll cover in our next session actually. So yep. So once it's loaded, then we can use that. We just want to restart our application. So it's getting automatically loading. So we just want to go to the settings, then yeah, it's still loading. Yeah. So here the model builder, once we use that model builder mode option source code manual, then we need to generate from here. So I'm just generating this. So once we click on generate, it will generate under this folder, the Umbraco folder. We can generate this model. We can specify to some other model, some other library. So that topics we will cover in the next session actually. So for now, I'm just created here. So I'm just using that that home. So I'm just, we need to use that home page, component or the home page. We need to use it here. So I'm just using here. So when we over this, we can see it is the namespace is loaded from Umbraco cms.web.com and this is actually from here actually. So yes, so once it's loaded, we will get the Umbraco, sorry, the home page data here. So model is like the current page, that is the model, that is the normal MVC. That model is this. So model.ancestor.self is the extension method for this page type that I publish content. So ancestor or self is like it will look for the next ancestor or the next ancestor and it will check for this the page type home page. So whenever there is a ancestor page that is of page type home page, those data we can access it here in this variable. So that is the logic of this line. So once we copy this home page, then we need to use that home page or that model for rendering this, right? For that we need to remove this from here and we need to paste it in the master layout because this is the generic component, the navigation. So we don't need to put it in the page specific component. So I'm just moving to the master layout. It's just above the the component actually. So that's how we can render render the data. We can pass the home page here. We have the option to pass that model, or either we can directly use this this line in here itself. So if you are using here, we can say that home page. Yes. So I'm trying to render this. So for that home page, I need to dynamically render this. For that, I need to for each this. So model dot navigation, I think model dot navigation is not. We need to look for that property. What property that links is actually saved in which property? Yeah, the link is actually saved in this property called links because it's the part of the header. So this is actually loaded from here. So this is the alias for this property. So we need to use that property in order to render that data. So model dot links is there. So once we over, we can see that it is loaded from it's a collection of a class called link. So we can render it here. So the item, we can copy this. We don't need this actually. Yeah. So I'm just pasting this name and this URL is there. So it's all done. Yeah. So once it's done, then we can check. We can reload it. Can we see? Yeah, it's actually it's not loaded. Okay, so something related with the build process. We can restart the application. Okay, so once it's built, then it will automatically get a reload. It's a watch.NET run watch is happening behind the screen. Yeah, so once it's loaded, we can see the links is dynamically pulled from the back office. Actually, this home and meetups is actually pulled from here. So we can swap this, and based on that, it will come in that format. So this is how we can create the properties in a dynamic way, and this is how we can add the content in Umbraco 11 website, and this is how we can show it on our website or the real content in the front end actually. So So I just give an overview what we covered. We have a little bit time left, so I will cover what we discussed so far. So for creating a Umbraco website, we are choosing Umbraco 11, which is the latest version of Umbraco, which is developed on top of .NET 7. So in order to create a Umbraco 11 website, we need to install it first. So in order to install, we need to install that Visual Studio template from Umbraco HQ itself. So once it installed, we can ready to start the Umbraco project. We don't need to use the Visual Studio. We can either use Visual Code, or directly we can work with the CLI if you're comfortable with that. So yeah, once it's created, then we can come here, and then we need to create a content. So in order to create a content, we need to create a blueprint, or we need to create a document type, and from that document type, we are deciding how our content need to be structured. So we are come to the settings section. So under the document type, we can create the doc type. So here we are just structured on folder basis to give more understanding, more clarity. So that's why we structured in a folder basis. On in That's how we can create the doc type. And under the doc type, we can create the properties in order to keep those data, those dynamic data actually. So we can create those properties for the reusable purpose. If you want to reuse some of the properties throughout some of the doc types, or or we need to use some of the if you want to use a doc type within a doc type, then we need to go with the composition. And here we use the header as a composition from the navigation doc type itself, so that we can incorporate those links, those menu links in the home page itself. So once it's created, then we can then it's ready to create the content. We just right click and we can create it from here. So here we are creating a home page, and the home page has a welcome test, as I shown how it is actually rendering in the template. The template and the document type we can see from here. So and there is a header, and from the header we can create the dynamic links. So these for this we are using a pre-built data type, or we can say the property called multi URL picker. There are different properties you can explore after this meeting. We will definitely push this code to our public repository, so everyone can explore, and we will maintain that repository for our ongoing session as well. Yeah, so this is all about things, and once we add it, then we can create our templates, and we can write the real code in there. So for here we need to split those heavy code into small chunks that we called as partial views, or view component, or the macros of kind of things. There are different concept is the blazor is there. So now in this section, I use the view component for that. So based on that view component, we are dynamically rendering these content, the home and meetups. So I think so that's all about the section from my end. So yeah, so thank you. So if there is any doubts, we can clarify. Yeah, thank you.
Hi Dinesh. So I guess the view component that is the one of the option to make the section partial, right? So which one is like more recommended way? There are multiple options, right? The partial view, macros, or the component view. So what is the recommended way actually?
It's up to us actually. There is no that recommended way. We can either use macros, and if we use macros, we can directly select that macros within the RT itself. So if we have a business requirement kind of that we need to use a macros within the RT, then we can go with the macro concept. If we don't have that that type of business requirement, then we can go with the partial view. Why I'm not using partial view is like it's a traditional thing. Now it's view component is there, so it's kind of a C# code, a class file. So we can add let's say if you want to query a database, query a content from database, or if you want to call a API, so we can write those in the CS file itself. We don't need to rely on the CS HTML. So that's the main benefit of using the view component, but it's not a recommended way. We can, it's up to us what type of concept, or what types of views we need to use actually. Yeah.
So is there any benefit while we have a lot of upgrades on the Umbraco, right? So is there any benefit we are using this view components since it comes to core? So if in case in future any new major version comes, is there any benefits we are using with these components, or
Actually,
you know
this
what I mean?
view component and the partial view is actually the part of the Microsoft ecosystem. So I don't think it would make any issue when it comes to the updation or the migration process. Yeah, so there is no issue with that, and it's up to us, and it's up to the business requirements what view we need to use basically. And yeah, definitely the model builder is it's a good thing when we come to the migration or the upgrade part actually. So model builder is recommended for that in that purpose in a long way, but for the view purpose it's up to us what we need to use, yeah, because it's all
Got it.
part of the Microsoft ecosystem, yeah.
Thank you so much. I think I'm good. Thanks, Danish, for the wonderful session.
So I think there is no doubts and everything is clear. So yes, thank you for joining, and thank you for your all time actually. So I'm just giving an introduction about the next session. So the next section is all about the Umbraco, the model builder. So it's a great section. It's taken by the Nijaz Hamid. So we will announce the date in our meetup itself. So please be available on that date. And yep, thank you for all your time actually. Yep, thank you.